So we're gonna pick up right where you guys left off, and I think the war chief is only going to be with you a few more minutes, Rorgar. So if there's anything you want to cover with your buddy here before he disappears.
No, that's okay. I think we had to we did some stuff moving the cauldron and stuff. So I think that's fair if he's gone now.
Okay. He turns to you and with a glance, he goes, "Zug zug," and he vanishes.
Goodbye, friend.
Yeah, but you guys, Elijah, you identified what the cauldron was. It's called a cauldron of plenty, and essentially you just add water and it creates a soup. And it's not exactly a very flavorful soup, which might be what the hag was doing by adding body parts and stuff from various people that she has kidnapped. And in the corner, almost where Guardian is now, you guys have uncovered a nest of corpses that she has just been pulling from lately. And in fact, not much time passes by, Elijah. Maybe you're inspecting the cauldron, and Suzanne walks up to you and she kind of butts you with the top of her head, and she has the foot of some poor humanoid in her mouth, and she drops it in front of you.
Suzanne, don't eat that. And I'll go into my bag and get her out maybe like a piece of jerky or something that will hopefully be a bit more appealing than a foot and just give it to her.
Yeah, if you remove one of your meals, she'll work on that for a while. And you guys didn't tell me if you want to take a short rest or a long rest or anything. I think you were pushing pretty hard to Easthaven, which was only about 2 more hours until you would get there.
Well, we were in a storm when we got into this cave.
Yep. It was a temperature drop, not exactly a storm. It was mostly like a cold front that was blowing in.
It was enough to cause exhaustion on some of us.
That's correct.
Yes.
Is it still going on outside?
I'd say, Guardian, if you peek your head out, it does appear warmer. It is moving later into the day, so it's, let's say it's around 3 o'clock.
Let's go look at everyone. Come back. The plan.
I am curious to see what else mysteries, what other mysteries this cave might hold. No?
If I remember correctly, we're trying to save a life, but I'm sure they would hold off the execution for us to look around this cave.
You are correct. Maybe we should make speed to Easthaven.
It's not too far to Easthaven. I think we can make it there pretty quickly.
And as you guys make your way out of the cave, I'm assuming you're taking the cauldron with you, correct?
Yeah.
I think we looked up in the description, and it's actually much smaller than I thought it was. So it's the sort of thing you could put into a backpack if someone wanted to carry it.
Yeah, I'll put it into mine. That's totally fine.
Okay. Yeah, I believe the only situation we had was Virion and Guardian are the ones with exhaustion.
Yep.
But as you're making your way back to the entrance of the cave, you walk over the ginormous fallen skeleton that had come to life. But of course, with the hag being dead, the magic that was holding it together has ended, and it's just collapsed into a pile of bones.
What type of weapon did he have?
That's a great question. Give me a moment. I think it was a great axe.
No.
I think before we leave the cave, Rorgar will go into his bag and pull out the remaining cookies that he had taken from Nimsy and offer them to the party.
Huh.
A road.
Virion will grab one of the cookies and snack on it.
Yeah, I'll take one as well.
Guardian's not there.
Guardian doesn't eat either, so
Yeah.
I'll
more
consider
for us.
I'll consider that the end of the cookies because I had no idea how many I had.
The cookies in this case had really no nutritional value. They were mostly for morale encouragement. So
Oh, perfect.
you feel better, it tastes great.
A little bit of a sugar rush,
Team building snack time.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you guys very easily make your way around the cave, down the waterfall of doom, back towards the entrance of the cave. And what you find now is that the temperature is a little bit higher than it was before. It's still very cold, but what's happened now is it's definitely gotten much darker. But you can see off in the distance some lights, which indicate you're probably pretty close to Easthaven.
Where are you taking Guardian? He's going so fast.
I don't know where the entrance is.
You've reached the edge of the map. You must wait to gather your party before venturing forth.
I thought there was an actual spot on the map.
No,
I kept
there's-
looking
I
for
think
it. Like, where is it?
Easthaven is south of this map.
Just realized I was dragging Rorgar all over the map.
Well, this is still the cave, right? This isn't the.
Yeah, you're in the cave.
Yeah, there
One-
were
Yeah.
there were 2 other caves we didn't go into.
I was
One
just like, where
moment.
are we?
Okay, let me center on Laja.
There we
Laja
go.
is all of you, just making it easier on myself to just stack you all on Laja. But as you approach Easthaven, it's fairly obvious right away is that Easthaven is considerably larger than any of the other 10 towns that you guys have been to before. To put it in perspective, the town of Lonelywood has approximately 100 people, and Easthaven has approximately 700, so significantly larger town. As you approach, you see many, many houses with lights on. Easthaven is on a lake, much like the lake that Lonelywood is on, but it's a wholly separate lake. And the name of that lake just completely escaped me, so give me one moment. But much like the lake that Lonelywood and Bremen are on, this one is frozen over. And there are many fishermen, but what they've had to do... Oh, the name of this lake is Lake Dineshare. But what's happened is the lake is mostly frozen over, so fishermen, if they want to actually use their boats, are having to drag them across the ice to the small section of water that begins quite far away from town. But as you guys approach, you see what many of the fishermen have done is they've actually set up like tents and huts and houses on the ice and are just, cutting in the ice and just doing ice fishing instead of going out in the water. But it's still early in the day. It's around 3 o'clock, or actually, no, 2 more hours. We'll say it's 5 o'clock. But many fishermen are still out there on the ice, and the ones on boats are actually making their way in. But as you guys are making your way into town, you've actually found that your path has moved downward to the road, which is called the Eastway, which actually travels west to Bryn Shander, but you guys cut across the plains, so you didn't take the road. But as you're entering town, the best way is through the road, and that's kind of where you're moving into. So let me mark that. But what's noticeable immediately that catches your attention, as you're getting close to town, there is a sign that says, "Welcome to Easthaven." But half of that name has been scratched out, and it says, "Welcome to East Hell."
Ooh.
I pull out a little book and start rummaging through a couple of the pages there, trying to find a name and for this town.
You said a book? Which book?
Yeah, just a little personal book I got from the elder.
Okay.
With a bunch of names.
The person you're looking for is by the name of Olga Brightswing. If that's any help.
Is that the speaker?
No, that's not the speaker. The speaker that you guys were given the missive, sort of like the note from the speaker in Lonelywood. The speaker's name is Daneth Whalen. Nimsy said that he was a good friend of hers. He's been the speaker for quite a long time. He has a history of being a very reasonable person. But since ELH is back, actually, we're going to have you, Issa, just outside of town, and you notice the group approaching. Before you guys get too close, question: what's going to happen with Suzanne? Because you're bringing a white dragon into a populated area.
That's a good question.
Do we just hope no one cares? People in the small town seem to give quite a bit of fuss over it.
We could lie and say it's familiar. I've heard of familiar taking different shapes.
We could see if she wants to go fishing again.
That is also a good idea.
That might distract her for some time.
Or
I don't know how we'll find her.
we could tie her up outside town. No, that is bad idea.
I feel like
We
she'll
could leave her with
just
a water
bite through
dish.
whatever we tie her with.
Yes.
Do they have like a dragon stable or some kind of pet hotel we might be able to leave her at?
I think the
Pet
pet hotel is
hotel.
fully booked though, at least for the dragons. How about this? As you guys are approaching Rorgar, Suzanne, she goes up to your backpack and she takes a bite on the bottom of your backpack. And you notice what she's doing is she's biting the section where some of your food is. And I'd say all but one of your rations falls out on the ground, and she kind of piles them together, makes herself a little nest around them, and starts eating them. So she seems content, but that's going to cost you all but one of your food.
Okay.
Walk
You
away
know
from
what?
that.
An expensive solution, but it works.
As she's eating all of the food, Virion is going to look at her and just like hold his hands out and say, "Stay, stay, Suzanne, stay." And Suzanne's probably not paying attention because she's looking at the food. And I'll turn back to the rest of the group and say, "I think she's listening to me. I think we're good to go here."
If you
I'm
say
gonna
What
leave
so.
is
her so we remember where she is.
what is preventing any of the townsfolk alerting the guards, having the guards come out here and then killing her?
That is a good point.
How big is Suzanne?
I think this is a great time to talk about that. Issa, as you're approaching, you see the group trying to deal with Suzanne, and you notice that Suzanne is actually quite a bit larger than the last time you saw her. The last time you saw her, Issa, she's about the size of a cat. Now she's about the size of a pony.
A Shetland pony, I assume.
Sure.
Issa sort of walks up to the group and, very pointedly looking at Suzanne, says, "So I see I've missed something important in the last few days. Any anything important happened while I was gone? I mean, you are a few days behind."
We found a cave. We found an old lady inside of it. We promptly killed her and took her stuff.
And she just sort of blinks slowly. Okay, so you randomly attacked an old lady in a cave.
It
Okay.
it was a hag in a cave who was attacking us, but other than that, we have retrieved this, and I will pull out the cauldron. It seems to be some sort of it has some magic to it, which seems to create food, so I think it might be more useful in town than out of town.
Hmm. Well, let's hope that continues to be the case. And I look at Suzanne at this point. Any reason she's bigger than before? I mean, even a few days, it seems odd that she's growing this fast.
You have experiences with dragons.
Not really, well, not in an intimate aspect like this, but it just seems very odd that she's able to enlarge herself like this in such a short period of time. I shudder to think what she'll be like in a week's time or a month's time.
Given the environment, I believe it's best for them to get bigger faster, unless they become food for those much larger.
A logical assumption. Still, it does leave the question of what to do with her.
I feel like if we leave her on the outskirts, she'll probably try to catch animals in the area and won't come after us. She might be good overnight at least.
She's a free range dragon now. I say we let her make her own decisions.
An outdoor dragon, if you will.
Yeah.
How about this? You all go into town, do what you need to do. I'll stay here. If anyone comes nearby, I'll tell them that it's the group's dragon. And if anyone
Guardian,
attempts to harm her, I'll crush them.
Guardian, are you sure you want? You may be missing out on nice food and drink.
I do not
Warm
eat
Plus,
nor
if-
do I drink.
Inside.
I have a camp kit.
I'm more concerned with what might be involved with freeing this woman we've come here to save. Not having your strength with us could be a problem.
Then we are left in a predicament where this dragon can be killed by the guards. We could also
Well-
just simply approach the guards and tell them it's our dragon. There's no reason for this to be difficult.
Rorgar will go to Suzanne and say, in Draconic, which I still probably doubt that Suzanne understands. Suzanne, if you see any angry people coming at you, just make sure to run away and then come and find us later. Do you understand?
Suzanne looks at you. She has her mouth full of food, and she just kind of turns her head to the side and then just goes back to eating her food.
Rorgar will turn to the rest of the group. Suzanne says, I told Suzanne to run if anyone came after her, so she understood and will do that.
No. Suppose we should get a move on then. Probably gonna need all the time that we've got.
So we established, Issa, that you've already been in Easthaven for a while, maybe like half a day. So what you would have learned in that time, just so you know, that kind of makes sense. What you would have learned in that time is that Easthaven is it's in a very dark place. For one, they are burning the lady magician, lady wizard, in the middle of town square in front of the city hall. They plan on doing that tomorrow morning, actually, and they have been aggressively building the structure to burn her in, and it seems as though the townsfolk are very excited to see this happen. You hear talk about all the time about how everyone is excited to go see the burning. They're excited to be warmed to the fire of this lady being consumed. It seems to be something that everyone is very joyous about.
So I communicate all of that to the rest of the party and then add on. To put it plainly, I do not believe we have the luxury of convincing the populace to just let her go. I think this is very much a prison break scenario, which does mean that if we do go through with this, we're not going to be welcome in Easthaven after we're done.
Maybe we can find a way to make a deal. I don't know. Let's find this speaker and get some more information.
Guardian's just gonna start moving.
Ollie is on your shoulder still, Guardian, and she turns to you and she says, please tell me that we're not waiting out here with the dragon.
No. The dragon will be safe out here or dead when we return.
Ollie, you could You could stay behind at a distance and let us know if anyone harasses our friend.
And Ollie just rotates her head, like completely to the back of her body as the guardian is walking away, and she just kind of listens to you as you say that, and then she turns her head back around, communicating exactly what she thinks about that offer.
I sometimes miss out on certain social cues. What is your answer, Owl? Hello?
She just kind of yawns and stretches her wings and stays on Guardian's shoulder.
I think our friend Ollie here has a hearing problem.
And
Oh well.
And Guardian, as you're
I
making
hear
your way...
owls can
Oh, go ahead,
hear pretty
Elijah.
well. I hear that owls can hear pretty well. That's kind of weird.
Yes, I read that in a book once, but who knows?
But Guardian, as you're walking into town, you don't get really far, like before you start entering into the city, before 4 guards actually step off from the side of the road and block your passage. And immediately what you notice is different about these guards. To put it in perspective, in Lonelywood, the guards were really just a bunch of folks carrying wooden spears. They had their furs and everything like you have to out here, but they didn't seem very trained. They didn't seem very professional. They were probably just villagers who were a militia. Here, though, at Easthaven, the guards appear to be very well trained, and in fact, you can tell when they step out, they're carrying metal spears, they have shields, they have swords, crossbows, and you can see the glint of metal underneath their furs, and they have metal helmets. They appear to be very trained, and immediately as you're walking down the road, they step out and assume sort of like a semicircle around you. They haven't drawn their weapons, but their weapons are definitely ready. And one of them walks forward. He says, visitor to Easthaven.
Yes.
And he looks up and he says, imagine you get a bit chilly in that armor.
Sure.
And he says, well, by the posting of the captain, we are to inform all visitors that all crimes are punishable by sacrifice to Oril. So you do your best to be in good behavior, I say.
Understood.
Friend, that is a very steep punishment for any crime, you say?
And he says, well, we need sacrifices. Seems like the right thing to do. If you break the law, you're the sacrifice.
We have a letter for the speaker. It comes from Nimsy, the speaker of Lonelywood. Would you be able to point us in the correct direction?
He looks to his friend or one of the other guards, and they kind of exchange a laugh. And he says, well, your important notice should go to the speaker. And he points down the main road that you're on, obviously the largest road through town. And he says, you can follow this road down to City Hall. That's where you'll find the speaker.
You're I shouldn't say this because I am common is not my normal language, but your accent is quite interesting, friend.
And he says, what of it?
Oh, nothing. I'm just pointing out that I enjoy it.
And he says, very well. And one of the others to the side says, oh, and you've come at a good time. We're gonna be burning the witch tomorrow morning.
Fascinating.
And they all kind of
What
exchange a
crime
glance and a
did
laugh.
what crime did the witch commit to get herself in this hot water?
One of the same guard says, oh, it doesn't matter. She's got an evil air about her. She's gonna be killed. Probably for good measure, I say, just in case. We don't need her foul sorcery around here.
Rogar will turn to Viri and hot water. I thought they were burning, or are they boiling?
They kind of exchange glances. And he says, oh, we're burning her in front of the city hall tomorrow morning. And one of the others says, I wonder how loud her screams will be.
Do do these burnings and sacrifices normally draw a crowd?
Oh, everyone from Easthaven's coming out to watch the witch burn.
Interesting. Even the children?
And the lead guard says, "Hi, you should know she killed one of our guards. That's why we're killing her. Amongst other things that she has done, that's the main reason. So remember here, your crimes will definitely be punished. We're
Well, I'll make
always
sure-
watching you here in Easthaven."
I'll
So
make
she
sure
had-
not to kill guards.
So she had an evil air about her and killed a guard. Yes, that's how you want to start that.
Yeah, the evil air thing kind of made it sound like you were just, picking up people and killing them for no reason. But now that she's killed somebody, I can somewhat see your point of view.
And the last guard says, "Oh, and she spoke out against the Frostmaiden. We don't need that kind of that curse brought down upon us. It's heresy,
How dare there
heresy."
be progressive thinking?
She was saying something about how she needed someone to defeat the Frostmaiden, or she was looking for adventurers or something of some such, but it's crazy talk.
Yeah, that's
Insane.
crazy. We need to go back to how things were, make Easthaven great again. So where were we supposed to be heading?
I think they said to City Hall down this road.
All right.
Oh,
Oh.
and before we go, soldier to soldier, what you say is the best bar in town?
And one of them laughs. That would be the White Lady Inn. And the Mitra's gonna she's really gonna like you. And he says that to you, Rogar.
Excellent. I do enjoy it when people enjoy me.
And one of the guards says to the other one, they're pointing at you, Laja, and they say, Hey, look, it's another dwarf. Where do you all come
Yeah,
from anyway?
I mean, different groups of dwarves come from different places.
I thought they were all killed in the valley. I only see a few here and there.
Well, I can't say that's comforting to hear, but thanks for the heads up.
They step
Anyway, I think this message is a bit urgent, so we probably should bring it as soon as possible.
and they step aside. All right, deliver your important message. Don't want to get in your way. Just remember, we punish crime very harshly in Easthaven. And they all kind of laugh at that.
Yes, that's something you should be very
thank-
proud of.
Guardian just walks past them.
And as you walk past them, Guardian, on the main street of Easthaven, you see a mixture of all sorts of races of different sizes and everything. It's much more diverse than in, say, Lonelywood. You see, Goliaths, who are not wearing many furs because they're immune to most of this cold weather. You see many humans, half-elves, a few elves, lots of halflings. You don't really see many dwarves. It's interesting that the guards call them out. You'll occasionally see one or two, but people coming and going, many of them get out of your way as you're pretty much the largest thing here moving apart from some of the Goliaths, but most of them move to make way for you. There's also lots of dog sleds that are going back and forth. So there's lots of actually activity in Easthaven.
I'll linger back a second as everyone moves towards City Hall, and I just want to. I'll go to the lead guard, and I know guard duty can be a bit of a pain. So for your trouble, buy your friends a drink on me, and I'll push a gold into the guard's hand.
He looks at it, and the rest he exchanges in a glance with the other guards. Oh, 1 gold, eh? That might be considered a bribe.
It's not a bribe, friend. I
Bury
hold
the
on, let me
dragon.
He's
no,
a very generous person in
um,
general.
I served with the guard in Neverwinter. I've done my time as doing guard duty, and I have to say, I did occasionally fall asleep, and the guard captain had to wake me up. I know it can be a bit tiring, so just showing you that I support you. I support our armed forces, is what I'm saying.
And he says, "Ah, well, as I said, 1 gold might be considered a bribe, but 5 gold. Now that would be a princely
well then,
gift."
if that's what you're meaning, I will, and I'll pick the gold back out of his hand and say, well then, no gift for you. That's fine.
And one of the other guards, as you're handing this, the 5 gold pieces to the main guard, looks at your pouch of
No,
money.
I took the gold piece back.
Oh, you took it back.
If
Okay.
if you consider bribe, I will not give it.
Oh, no. We appreciate your donation to the guardsmen of Easthaven. It's a lonely profession.
No, if it is against your moral code, I understand and I will not give it. Maybe if you come to the inn later, I will buy you a drink then when you're off duty. I think it is a bit unsightly for me to be giving you gold in street like this. When you're off duty, come find me. Maybe I buy you a drink.
And he says, maybe.
It depends the mood I am in.
And he says, just so you know, offering to bribe a guardsman in Easthaven is a crime. And all crimes serve time in the jail in Easthaven. So let's
So make
say,
up your mind. You have
let's
to make
say,
up your mind here. Donation, bribe.
that's what I said before. 1 gold would be a bribe. I think 5 gold would be a generous donation to the guards of Easthaven. I'd hate to actually have to call the captain over here to adjudicate this decision.
To make a donation that big, I think I will make it in person to guard captain at City Hall. So thank you to telling me where I should make my donation.
They kind of exchange glances as you walk by, and you can tell they're whispering to each other as you leave.
I didn't think that was going to cause so much problem.
Well, it's a good thing that we are about to break the law.
Just trying to be nice here.
One thing
And then
that's
I'll kind of jog and catch up with everybody.
One thing that's noticeable on the streets of Easthaven is it's actually not very loud. Like there's usually, when you're in a town, there's the noise of people in their homes, people coming out on the streets, and the traffic of people going back and forth. The people here seem to be very quiet, and as I said, they're getting out of your way, Guardian and stuff. And as the rest of you are moving behind the path that Guardian is creating through the people here in Easthaven, no one's really looking at you or talking to you. And as you're moving down Main Street, you hear the sound of the noticeable sound, especially to you, Laja, that you've heard many times before, of a forge. So you hear a hammer on an anvil off in the distance, off of the main road.
Does anybody else remember which way we were supposed to go exactly?
Main road. Straight
Down the
ahead.
street this way, yes.
In fact, there are several signs you notice at some of the intersections that point to, many of these streets actually have names, but then there's also signs above them that say, point to a direction to something. There is a sign when you reach this junction here that says "This way to the White Lady Inn." So I'm actually going to reveal it on the map for you guys to see, because at this point you would have seen it.
Okay, so that's where we're going after City Hall. Should be further this way then.
And one thing I was going to ask GM Josh is which square are they burning the witch in? Because it looks like there's quite a few places which could be considered a square.
Yeah, and as you guys make your way down the main street to the town hall, so the town hall stands out significantly from the rest of Easthaven because it's a large structure made of stone. and you can tell it's probably 2 close to 3 stories tall. And all the other structures in Easthaven, I should say, are made out of wood. But here in front of the town hall, this is where they're getting ready to burn her. And you can tell because there's a large stake. They've also surrounded the stake with straws and other logs and stuff. It's an affair. It looks like the guards are still piling on straws and stuff. More than enough fuel to burn someone, but they're not. They're making sure they're doing a thorough job here.
I'm gonna walk up towards the town hall. And is the door locked? Is it open?
The door is closed because it's so cold. There's a number of guards around the town hall, actually a large number of guards. But from what you can tell, some people passing in and out, it appears as though the doors are unlocked.
Alright. I'm just gonna mosey on in.
And I have the letter out so that we can hand it over.
I just imagine Laja is pointing to it anytime anyone starts to raise their hand to stop Guardian. She's like, nope, letter. We just continue on.
Some of the guards notice all of you advancing up the stairs to the main entrance of the town hall. And one of the guards steps forward, and he's wearing a little different outfit than the rest. He's a half-elf, and he says, can I help you, citizens?
Hi, we've been sent here on official business from Lonelywood. We have a message for the speaker from Speaker Nimsy.
Says, I am Captain Arlagath, captain of the guard here in Easthaven. You have something for the speaker, huh? May I ask what it's pertaining to?
No. Speaker's eyes only.
Do we actually know? I can't remember if she told us or not.
I don't think she did.
I believe it's sealed.
Mm-hmm.
It is sealed. She kind of gave you the play-by-play. She said that it was just saying that you were heroes of Lonelywood, and if he needed anything, he could depend on you.
I believe it is a letter of introduction, perhaps, but I haven't read it myself.
He says, well, the speaker is not one to be disrupted during his business. I suppose you're free to go in. Are you here for the burning?
Is there a doctor here?
He looks up to your guardian and he says, I'm afraid I don't know what you mean. Are you dressed like that for a reason? And he's kind of referring to your armor.
You could say I was born with it.
Indeed. We do have an apothecary here in town, if that's what you're asking.
It's gonna look to everyone. Like, I'm going in.
What was the guard? Did you say what the guard captain's name was?
His name is Arlagath.
Arlagath. I'll just guess how to spell that. No, I won't waste time. I'll just follow Guardian.
And as you guys walk into, I actually have a new map here for the town hall. And I haven't actually put any of you in it, so give me a moment.
And here I was thinking it was just a very dark room.
It's part of the ambience, you know, it's just dark. So, like I said before, the building, the town hall, is made of stone, which does stand out quite a bit from the rest of Easthaven. But as you walk through the large double doors, you see that there is actually a wooden pedestal that's built off of the floor against the wall, the furthest wall. There is one guard inside. He's a human guard, you know, fairly heavily armored as the rest. And then off to the side, there is an elderly human woman. Upon you guys entering, she stands up and begins to make her way over to you. And she says, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome. Do you have any business?
Yes, we do. We were sent from Lonelywood by Speaker Nimsy to see if you guys needed any help in town.
Oh, Lonely One, it's been quite a while since I made my way up there. I knew a young man once who lived in Lonely Wood. Quite a nice young man. He liked to fish, always liked to fish, and he always said that he caught a lot of fish, but I have to say I never saw any of the fish. Of course, when I was growing up, the Dale looked very different. And she goes on for quite a while talking about how the differences in the Dale. And then she says,
Fascinating.
and she looks over
Virion
to
would
you,
like-
Issa, and she says, "Oh, you're a funny looking one. Is your eye hurt?"
If by hurt you mean gone, yes.
Wow, sorry to hear that. They have magic enchantments, I believe, to cure that sort of thing.
What do you think I'm wearing the eye patch for?
Well, I knew a young man once who went fishing out on the lake, and he said a knucklehead trout bit off one of his endowments, and that a wizard was able to heal it. Of course, I never saw that, so it's just his word against ours. But I believe that magic can fix that sort of thing.
That story sounds believable.
Don't encourage her. Please don't encourage her.
Is this the speaker?
We
This
don't
is
know.
this is a woman, and she introduced herself. My name's Prudence. I'm the clerk for Easthaven. Have you come here for a permit for fishing?
No, we're here to speak to the speaker.
What's that, dear? You said you're having a hard time speaking.
Speaking with the speaker, yes. We seem to need some directions to where he would be.
At that moment, one of the guards turns to you, Virion, because you're kind of off to the side where I have you dropped, and he says, "Hey, you, stay in sight. No shifty business."
Virion will walk up to him and get like really close, and he'll boop him on the nose. I'll make it my business to stay in your sight, pal.
He says, "We don't suffer criminals here in Easthaven. I'll take it you've seen the stake outside. That's what we do to criminals."
All right, well, good thing I'm not a criminal, I guess. And he'll
That remains to
push
be
up
seen.
on him a little bit more too.
I'd hate to have to draw my sword today. It's been a while since I had to kill an elf.
Well, it hasn't been a long time since I've killed someone else, so I guess I'm a little more in practice than you are.
Can I hear this?
I think so.
Friend, my traveling companion here is just very friendly. But we actually are heroes of Lonelywood, and we have come here as part of our journey. We are not criminals. We are here to help.
That's right. Sorry, I'm just exhausted. I forget my manners.
But and I'll get right up close to the guard and whisper to him. But I think my friend here might be flirting with you. I am bad with these signals, so I do not know.
Virion will also give a wink. He's throwing a lot of mixed signals in this exhausted state.
And at this point, Ollie turns to you, Guardian, and Ollie whispers, "We're going to die."
Perhaps.
But Prudence says, "Oh, well, it sounds like, maybe I'll go ask the speaker if he has time to see you, even though you said you're here for something else. Excuse me," and she says to Issa, "you said you were here for an appointment to get your eye fixed?"
No, to see the speaker.
"Well, yeah, you can speak any time, hon. Don't worry, we have laws in Easthaven, but nothing quite that serious."
Virion will whisper to Rorgar, "This is why people kill each other here."
I tried giving someone a present earlier, and they thought I was giving them a bribe. Can you believe that?
Yes, I can.
Oh, Is that the thing? I grew up in a church. Oh well.
Prudence makes her way off through one of the doors in the bottom of the room. It's a small wooden door, but she opens it up and disappears into a side chamber, and it's just leaving you guys here with the guard. But the guard, after hearing you, Rorgar and Virian, exchange just, the comments that you were, you notice his hand is on his sword, which is different than it was before.
Mr. Guard, what is your name?
My name? What do you need my name for?
I'd like to know everyone's name, so we can be friends.
The name is Jenkins.
Jenkins, I am Rorgar. I am a paladin in service to Torm and Bahamut.
That's great. Good for you.
Thank you. I appreciate the respect you're showing me. These guards at the entrance of town, they were actually a little rude. Can you believe that?
Don't appreciate you talking about my brothers in arms in such a way. What right do
Actually,
you have?
I tried to make a donation to the guard service and they turned me down.
So you mean you tried to bribe them?
Why would I bribe a guard?
I don't know. Perhaps you're not the most intelligent thing to walk through Easthaven.
That is likely true. There are many people of very high intelligence. Even if I was very smart, it is likely that someone has been here smarter than me.
Elijah, if you can give me a perception check, please. That's a very good roll. You noticed, as this exchange is happening and you're walking around just waiting for the speaker, you look over at the guard and you notice on top of his shirt, he's wearing a chain, and the amulet at the end of the chain is a several pointed snowflake. And you remember that's actually the symbol of Oral, the Frostmaiden.
Interesting. But that does make sense based on what the guard said when we walked in. I'm gonna let them keep going though. I'm gonna wait for the speaker. We'll see how this goes. Who gets arrested first?
Yeah, I don't think
In
Rorgar's.
first place.
Yeah, if the guard doesn't seem to want to engage in conversation with Rorgar, I don't think Rorgar will continue to press it. He's just trying to be friendly, and it's being taken poorly.
And after a moment, walking through the door is a human male. And I have this for you guys.
A wanted poster.
So he's a human male. He's wearing what looks to be more expensive furs and a coat than the others you've seen in Easthaven. And he walks in, and immediately you notice there are huge bags under his eyes, and his skin is actually very pale, and it appears to sort of be drooping off his skull quite a bit. His eyes are just bloodshot red, and as he walks over, his eyes also dart back and forth, and he seems a little hunched, but he quickly makes his way into the room, and he says, "Yes, I am Speaker Whalen. Yeah, you have important business, yes?"
Yes. We were sent here from Lonelywood. We had assisted them with some of their problems up there, and they said that you guys might be able to use some assistance over here. We're happy to help however we can.
Oh, yes. Assistance. We don't need assistance here. We have everything under control. Of course, have you come to see the statue?
Sorry, did Laja hand over the letter?
I imagine that she's holding it out, waiting for him to grab it.
And he doesn't grab it. He continues to mutter on, and he says what he's saying very, very fast. And he says, "Have you come to see the statue? The statue is it's well guarded. Don't worry. It's very well protected. It's here at the town hall. Nothing to worry about. everything is fine. Everything is just fine here in Easthaven. Nothing to worry about. Nothing to worry.
Horgar is going to take a slightly more serious tone, probably one that he has never shown, except in a fight. Speaker, we have heard word that you have problems with witch. As a paladin, I offer my services to question this witch and make sure that she does not have a hidden coven that you have not found yet.
Can you roll a persuasion check for me, please?
Sure.
Wow, he crushed it. Oh, of course, we could use your assistance in that way. The prisoner's downstairs, past the statue. Of course, don't touch the statue. The statue is
Good to know.
do not touch the statue. Whatever you do, don't touch it.
We will leave it a wide berth.
This this letter, Speaker, this letter we bring is from Nimsy from Lonelywood, and it is telling you that we have assisted her, and we are offering that service to you. So please, if you have anything that you need from us, feel free to ask.
It doesn't even have to be important.
And he finally takes the scroll case from your hand, Laja, and he just puts it in his pocket. And he continues to mutter to himself, Lonelywood's very far away. Very far away. Don't need to worry about Lonelywood here in Easthaven. We're perfectly fine. Everything's fine. Everything's safe. Sacrifices continuing as they should. Statue is fine. And he says that, and he points to the door. He says, prison's that way. Through the door, down the stairs. Remember, don't touch the statue. Don't touch the statue.
What is this? What is this statue to?
He says, the statue. It's the most beautiful thing that has ever been given to the town of Easthaven.
And who is depicted in this statue?
The delivering lady herself.
I come from Neverwinter. This is an unfamiliar term.
You may walk forward and see it, of course. You may see it. I allow everyone to see it, to share in its glory. However, do not touch the statue. Don't touch the statue.
Understood.
I think we can follow that just fine.
And he walks
Lady
out.
with the many wrinkles, I require your assistance.
And Prudence, at this point, she's gone over to a desk in the corner and she's shuffling some papers. She doesn't even seem to hear you at all, Guardian.
I'll get closer. And lean down. Excuse me.
And she jumps and she turns around and she says, "Oh, I'm sorry I didn't see you there. Well, you're a funny looking thing.
Yes.
You maybe should clean your armor, dear. You've got quite a bit of growth on there. Oh, and some kind of creature perched on your shoulder.
Yes.
I've got a broom around here somewhere to help you with that. One moment, we can
No.
swat it away."
No. I am looking for an individual named Olga Brightsprings.
Oh, you mean that unusual dwarven lass who works in the forge?
Yes. Thank you.
Uh,
Is there
she
just
re-
one forge in the city?
Oh, yes. Only one forge that people frequent anyway. She's a great lady. She helped repair my girdle not too long ago after it broke. You know, problems of age, of course. She'll get there one day.
Yes. Thank you.
She looks at you and she says, "Now, wait a minute. Have you eaten a good meal? You look quite hungry. Quite thin. When's the last time you ate? Come here now, let me get a look at you."
She's just gonna slowly stand back up. I am good. I do not require sustenance.
And she looks to Issa. "Oh, that poor lady. Do you know her? She needs help with her eye."
And we're leaving.
Yeah, I was about to say I'm already heading in. You guys can catch up if you want.
So you guys make your way. I'm gonna just drop you in here. This is a small area. There's like an ante room here before you get to a larger room. But as you're making your way in, there we got everybody there. The speaker he's not really even paying attention to you as he makes his way through this room. And it's a small room. There's like shelving and stuff and all sorts of scrolls on bookcases throughout the room itself. It appears to be sort of like a waiting room, but he moves right through it and walks into the room just past it and doesn't even wait for you to look to see if you're following him.
Well, I'll follow into the next room.
Yeah, I'll.
Mhm.
Rorgar will also follow.
And as you step into the room, what immediately takes your attention must be the statue that he was talking about. It is a deep black statue. It's about 8 feet tall, and it looks like some kind of owl creature. And in fact, it's got the horns of like a ram, and it's reaching out an arm, and its arm has a thin hand with long claws on the end. It looks like an owl, basically, that has taken human form in a way, but the arm is reaching out and to something. And as he walks in, Waylon he walks over to the statue and he gives it a glance of not affection is not even describing it well enough. It's almost like deep love that he has for this thing. And he walks around and he almost touches it as he gets close, but he doesn't. And you notice there's actually a barrier around the statue, like one of those dividers with a small rope wrapped between them. Like there's 4 pillars surrounding it, just so you could easily step over it, but you'd have to actually make a sign to do that. But it's intended just sort of like an easy way to keep people away. And then there's also a guard off to the side who's watching the statue as well.
Do I recognize this statue as like some sort of religious symbol?
Give me a religion check. Yeah, this is definitely one of the forms of Oral the Frostmaiden.
Ah, the Frostmaiden. Speaker, I did not know that's what you meant when you were speaking earlier. It is a beautiful statue.
And Waylon walks around and he says, "Oh, it's glorious. It's magnificent. You can feel her presence here."
I have seen nicer statues in Neverwinter, but Neverwinter bigger town, Still, this one radiates energy. I'd like it.
He says, "Whatever you do, you mustn't touch it. You mustn't touch it."
Can I use
absolutely?
Can I use divine sense?
Yeah, go for it.
Tell me, speaker, do you touch it?
He looks like he touches it.
He says, "No, I mustn't dare. It's too precious. It can't be damaged." You don't sense any celestial fiends or undead, but you do feel a strong sense of evil from this statue. Like it's pinging your spidey sense all the way on the evil side.
Okay. I won't share that just yet because, we're right next to the guy that's crazy about it.
So, speaker, which way were we supposed to go to find and question this witch?
And he points to the staircase that actually Guardian is right in front of. He says, "Oh, the dungeon's down there. You do whatever you need to. I don't care. Tell me if there's someone else that we need to burn. As long as the statue is safe."
Of course. Thank you for letting us assist you in this matter.
I take it you all are going down the stairs.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What is this over here?
That's actually a staircase leading up. I should have said it's a wooden
Okay.
staircase that leads. If you look up above you, this building doesn't have like a full level, like all 3 levels built up. It looks like sort of a loft space almost above this room. It looks as almost they built like a second level out of wood, but it does continue up further, and that's kind of where these stairs are leading.
Okay.
Bear with me. I just moved all of you here. We're kind of recycling the space a little bit. I think that gets everybody. As you walk down the stairs, the ceiling gets quite a bit lower. And in fact, Guardian, you're almost ducking as you go down into this level, this dungeon. And as you make your way down, the hallway itself that you're moving into is actually very narrow as well. It's probably not even enough space for two people to stand, next to each other. And it's cold outside, of course, but down here it's even colder. And as you walk down the stairs, Guardian, Ollie actually flies off of your shoulder, goes down to this intersection, and flies off in this direction.
It would have been very useful if the speaker had actually told us which room this witch was in.
I think it's very clear that something has addled the speaker's mind, and probably that old woman's mind as well.
Oh, and I have all of you here, and I'll motion for everyone to get closer so I can whisper. I used one of my abilities as a paladin, and that statue is definitely evil.
So you're saying we should touch it?
Maybe not touch it.
I would expect touching it may alter your mind as it did to the speaker.
I wonder if it counts if we hit it with a sword or a hammer.
It might be that the Frostmaiden has some sort of control over her images, because I know she's not exactly the most good of forces out here.
Yes, my knowledge of this Frostmaiden is not very good, so I am unsure. I suggest we just act carefully. I should probably stop speaking to guards, is what I'm saying.
They do not seem to like you very much.
No, and I'm very likable.
I agree.
It is offensive. That's fine.
So I guess we should look around the various rooms down here and see if we can't find wherever the switch is being held.
I have a solution. And Garden's just gonna yell real loudly, "Who's being burnt tomorrow?"
And you hear...
I feel like that's a bad idea that will scare her, but
Well, what's
it
done
already
is
happened.
done.
Stepping out of the room at the end of the hallway here is a lady. She's a human male or human female. She's probably about 6 feet tall. She's wearing furs, just like you have to here in Icewind Dale. She's carrying a sword, and she walks out and she says, "What's your business here?"
Borgar will step forward. We have spoken to the speaker. We have permission to talk to this witch to determine if there is any sort of hidden coven that may be posing a further risk to the town. My name is Roger. I am a paladin of Torment Bahamut. Pleased to meet you.
Yes. The pleasure is all yours. We've tortured
Yes.
this, I should say, interrogated the wizard sufficiently. I don't believe there's any secrets, of course.
I am of the business. I have been a soldier before. You don't need to mince words. It's fine. No code.
Oh, I see.
Torture, I understand.
Let's do another persuasion check, Rogar.
Oh.
And she kind of waves off to the side through the door into the other room, and she says, "I'm afraid that we're not going to let you question someone without a little more information from the speaker. Why don't we, she goes, why don't I give you one of the offices here to wait in while I get more information?"
That sounds very reasonable.
He's
You're
up-
welcome to go speak to the speaker.
He's just upstairs staring at statue.
And she says, "Why don't you all go into that first office on your right?"
This is taking too long. Speaker! Guardian shouts up.
And she's motioning to one of the cells. Actually, you can see Rogar. She's trying to get you in.
Does it look like a cell or an office?
Oh, it's a cell. It's not an office.
I'm sorry. You said office. That is clearly a jail cell. I am not going there. I'll wait somewhere else, or I'll wait right here.
And she says, "Fine, you can wait here, and I'll ask the speaker." And she pushes past you.
She's gonna have a fun time trying to push past Guardian.
Somehow she manages. There's no room here. You do hear the speaking of a few voices off ahead, Rogar, from the opposite direction that the lady first came from.
Wait, so she made it up the stairs, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
She's gonna go ask the speaker what to do. Somehow she squeezed past you all. That's the only way in or out, the way that you guys are kind of clogged on the stairs.
Rogar will just lean against the wall, I guess. I don't want to peek into the room in case the guard comes back and sees that as some sort of offense.
And you
You've
hear from off
offended
the
enough guards today.
from the distance, Rogar, you hear someone say, Rogar, come here. I'm over here.
Which direction? Can I tell what direction?
Yeah, it's this direction. The direction that Ollie also flew down.
I'll step forward and try to find who's speaking. I'll look to everyone else too at the same time. And did you all hear that?
Hear what?
Hmm?
Somebody said my name. Did I recognize the voice?
No, this is a voice you've never heard before.
Hello, friend. I'll keep my distance, but I'll yell. Hello, friend. What can Rorgar do for you?
And moving up to one of the bars at a cell at the end of the hallway here, you see a human female. She looks elderly, probably in her 60s. She has short white hair, and she actually has a patch over one of her eyes. She appears to be wounded. She's got some cuts and stuff on her cheek. But what's most noticeable, and the thing that immediately grabs your attention, is that Ollie is on her shoulder.
Oh, Ollie, you have found a new friend.
Ollie, don't commit any crimes.
And the lady reaches her hand up and pets Ollie, which Ollie has never really been enthused about, from anyone else. But she starts to pet Ollie, and Ollie kind of leans into it, and she goes, "Oh, you mean my darling? She found her way back to me."
Gonna push past Varian. Push. I'm pushing Rogar around if he's not budging.
She says,
No,
it may seem strange to you that I know who you are. My familiar here, Ollie, has been watching you for some time. She brought you to me. I know all about you."
And are you the aforementioned witch?
That's what they want you to believe.
I will use divine sense for the final time today to confirm what I know.
You don't detect any good or evil from her, and from what you can tell, she's not celestial, fiend, or undead.
Friends, she is not like the witch that we fought earlier today. That is, I can tell you that. We fought the witch, and yes, she was making people stew.
That sounds like the hag. And she says, well, I should introduce myself. My name is Valine Harpel. And that's actually what she looks like. And on her shoulder is Ollie, her familiar.
I have several questions.
Edgy says, "Of course you do, Guardian. Ask away."
1. Why did Ollie tell us that she was an awakened animal?
Well, at the time, Ollie was, she was unsure whether she should trust you or not.
2. How did Ollie gain the trust of the other awakened animals?
Well, Ollie can be persuasive, and, of course, a talking owl is, a little remarkable.
That's all.
How bad are her wounds?
As she's moving kind of slowly anyway, and you have a thought, Rorgar, that she might be a little enfeebled because she is pretty old for a human, but she has a number of cuts and bruises on her face, and she does appear to be in a little bit of pain.
I'll say, Laja, warn me if the guard is returning, and I will approach the cell, and I will, Verlaine, give me your hand.
And she does. She extends her hand through the bars.
And I will give her 1 point of lay on hands because I'm very low on these.
And
but I give her 1 point.
Immediately, like the cuts or something on her face close up.
And I'm sorry, I could do more, but I am very tired. We have already been in combat today.
She says, "Yes, unfortunately, we find ourselves here in Easthaven as our first meeting. This town is not what I expected it to be."
And then Rogar's gonna back away just so he doesn't look like he's snooping around.
I'm gonna keep an eye out, or I guess also an ear out for the guard coming back.
She says,
What did you do to be accused of being a witch?
She says, "Well, I foolishly thought that the people at Easthaven might be interested in combating the curse of Oril. So, unluckily for me, I asked around to see if anyone would like to join me on, well, what might be considered a fool's errand, but at least a way, I believe, to break the curse in Icewind Dale. Unfortunately, a large sect of Oril cultists have taken over Easthaven. They've actually begun to worship the Frostmaiden. And I was arrested. At least, they tried to arrest me, but here, being arrested is the same as a death sentence, so I fought back and killed some of them. And then, eventually they did overtake me because I couldn't take the whole city myself, and they threw me here.
Well, unfortunately, you did break the law, so I guess it is all right that you're... I'm kidding. This is awful. I can't believe this is happening. And I'm very sorry that this happened. Maybe we can find a way to get you out of there. Obviously, within the rules.
The speaker's mind has been addled by madness. I don't see any way that laws or rules or even reason can make it here at Easthaven. In fact, if you get me out of here, I promise I'll share with you what I know about the curse.
Well, maybe you should share it with us now in case we can't get you out.
It's okay.
I'm just being practical here. I know that is not a very happy thing for you to have to hear, but there is a chance that we cannot get you out.
Very well. I am a wizard from Longsaddle. I came to Icewind Dale to look after a colleague of mine. And once I reached here, I found the curse in effect, or I saw the effects that Oril has had on the area, and it reminded me of a passage that I recorded in my spellbook about an ancient elvish kingdom here in the Dale from millennia past. You see, Oril has taken mortal form and is in the Dale, which is why her curse is in effect. She is a goddess of pain, misfortune, and suffering that actually strengthens her. So As the Dale suffers, she grows stronger. However, she is in mortal form, so she can be defeated. She can be driven back. And in fact, it has been done before. The Elvish kingdom I spoke of that I've been researching found a way to weaken her a millennia ago. It is possible, if we can find their ancient texts, that we could weaken her and drive her back.
Sorry, I'm typing.
And she says, now that is all I'm willing to share until you can promise me that you can get me out of here. I have some spells remaining. I don't intend to go quietly, but that foolish guard captain took my spellbook and burned it.
Well, I'm not sure how to proceed because I'm actually kind of the opposite of breaking people out of prison. Virian, any help here? Isa, what do you think?
What I think is that Easthaven is a wretched and vile place that should have been burned to the ground a long time ago.
If this town is really under control of some evil cultists, I don't think necessarily listening to them might do much good.
It is roughly 5, Josh.
Yeah.
I suggest we get some rest and come back here in the middle of the night.
Is there any sign of the guard coming back?
Because you asked at that moment, the guard, she makes her way back. Somehow, however she magically did it before to get around you, she does the same thing. And she comes by and she says, yes, you can question this witch as much as you like. If you find out any information, let me know. Don't have too much fun with her, though.
Oh,
She does still need to
excellent.
be alive for the burning tomorrow.
Well, of course, the sacrifice wouldn't count if he was a dead body,
Natural.
because you would just do that all the time. You wouldn't waste living people.
She says, well, this one's a special case. We still have a few more days to the sacrifice to the Frostmaiden.
All right, thank you very much for your help, friend. And now, you prisoner, what is your name?
Valen just kind of stands there.
Playing hard to get, I understand. But we paladins have a way of getting what we want from people that won't talk.
And as the guard walks off into her room, she says, you could try breaking another one of her fingers. That was very effective last time.
Oh no, I'll just use Zone of Truth.
The guard, that was a human, right? Or was it like a halfling?
It's a human.
Okay.
I don't have anything else, I think, for the lens, so I'll just say hang tight. Hopefully we will be able to help you soon.
And she turns to Ollie, and you can tell they're exchanging something silently. And she says out loud, actually, to Ollie, she says, darling, you should go with them. You should go with them so I'll know what's happening. And Ollie takes flight off of her shoulder and flies back to you, Guardian.
Just look at Ollie. Feel slightly betrayed.
You remember you asked me last time if she was a beast? She's not a beast. She's a familiar. That's why.
Why didn't my spell work? Suspicious. Well, I'm just gonna squeeze past Lasha.
Before I go, can I grab the bars and just pull on them and try to get a sense of how strong they are?
They're very strong.
Okay.
If you were to make a check, I mean, this is one of the things you can do. You could possibly try to to bend them or something, but they're not the kind of bars you just pull right off.
Yeah, no, I'm not trying to do anything yet, so no, that's okay. I'll follow everyone out.
So what's next for you guys? Are you gonna go back to talk to the speaker, or are you headed out back into Easthaven?
Before we leave this area, Virian would like to go over to where the guard went, assuming this is like an office or something that she's in.
Are you trying to be stealthy about it?
No, I'm just gonna go let her know. Like just want to talk to her one last time.
Okay.
So Virian just want. Sorry, what was that?
You peer around the corner actually, and without even going in the room, you see there are 4 guards. One of which is the lady who went in. There are 4 of them total in this room. They're sitting at a table playing some kind of game.
Okay, so Virian just wants to poke his head in and be like, "Hey, we just finished, questioning the murderer here, and we're gonna be taking off." And as he says that, he just wants to like kind of do a peek around to see if any of the guards have like keys or anything that he can spot.
Yeah, they all have keys on a belt. They
Okay.
all do. And actually, as you're making your way off, one of them says, make sure you come back for the burning tomorrow morning. We've taken bets on how long it'll be till she screams.
Oh, it's tomorrow morning. Okay, perfect. Yeah, put me down for 2 minutes, and he'll throw 2 gold towards them.
Okay.
So if we murder a guard, we might be able to get some keys.
Do none of you have the ability to pick a lock?
We can murder Jenkins and get his keys. That's 2 birds stoned at once.
Yes, Isa, it is illegal to pick a lock and break in somewhere. I've never done that. I'm excited to try though.
I simply bring it up because it seems less messy than just killing the guards. Don't get me wrong, I think they deserve it. But it's probably going to be a lot quieter and cleaner if we just pick the lock.
I honestly think that's a better plan than killing the guards.
Whatever we do, I'm killing Jenkins at some point.
I
But
wish you didn't tell me that. Just I don't wish to know that.
uh,
Well,
yeah,
manifest destiny, all that kind of stuff.
it is possible he has like high blood sugar or low blood sugar. He might actually be a very pleasant man if we run into him later.
If there is an evil will being exerted upon the townsfolk, maybe their attributes are being twisted. He could be a very nice individual. He could be a father.
All the more reason why he shouldn't be parenting children.
Or simply the fact that he's been twisted by a dark presence.
All right. Well,
Yes. If you're going to murder someone, why don't we find someone more easy and someone more deserving?
I don't know. We'll
And
play it
maybe
your way for now, but
maybe not call
Jenkins
it
is still
murder.
at the top of the list.
We're on a mission, so it doesn't have to be called murder. It could be called like achieving an objective.
Garden's gonna head upstairs.
Same.
I do like the idea of getting rest, so I'll follow them.
I'm going to throw you guys back on the Easthaven map.
Oh,
You said we heard the sound of a forge going, right?
Yeah, you do hear the sound. You still just hear the sound at 5, 6 o'clock. Yeah, you'd still hear it.
Yeah, I'm heading towards that sound.
Okay.
before we leave the city hall, I just like to ask the last person I see before I leave, if they're what's the best hotel?
I'd say you eventually hear from Prudence. It takes a while, but she confesses to you that the White Lady Inn is probably the
Okay.
only accommodation in town worth staying at.
Excellent, perfect.
And she
Just
makes
wanted
another
to-
comment about how you look a lot like the proprietor.
Oh, interesting. Maybe I will find out. But then I'll follow Guardian.
Okay. Yeah, so Guardian, as you're making your way down the main street, you see a sign that points to another street, and you kind of get lost into a maze here. But if you continue to follow the sound, are you all going together, or are some of you also going to the inn?
Actually, now that you say that, I'll probably Rogar will say, friends, I am very tired, and I may not show it with my chipper attitude, but I am exhausted, and I could use a rest. I'm going to head to the inn.
You should all head to the inn. I require less sleep than the rest of you. If you call it sleep.
I can't remember,
Okay,
Guardian.
just-
Do you have a point of exhaustion, don't you, Guardian?
I do.
How does the exhaustion like show on a Warforged?
His lights are dimmer. They flicker every now and then.
Okay, perfect.
He seems more agitated.
Yeah, so Rorgar's gonna go to the inn. Who wants to go with Rorgar and who wants to go with Guardian?
Viren will go to the inn with Rogar.
I figure if Guardian says that he's going on his own, we can't stop him, so I'll probably go to the inn as well.
What about you, Issa? What do you do?
Well, considering I'm not exhausted, I'll pretty much follow Guardian around.
I was hoping someone would do that.
You guys wake up the next morning, like, where's Guardian? He's being burnt at the stake too. Oh shit!
Guardian needs a chaperone, guys.
That's a good way to clean off all of the plant life, you know? Just
That's all I would
refresh
do.
them.
That's mean. Alright. He's just walking towards there. He knows it's Isa, but he doesn't pay much mind.
Okay. Let's deal with Issa and Guardian first, making their way to the forge. You eventually, like I said, you kind of get lost through the streets of Easthaven. They wind back and forth, and it's very difficult to find landmarks because the houses, while they are distinct, are all covered in snow, and many of the streets are also covered in a thick layer of snow. But you, following your ears, eventually make it to a forge. It's a pretty modest forge here on the outskirts of town. The lights on the main building that the forge is attached to are actually out, but you can see off in the corner there is a dwarven lady who's working in the forge off in the distance.
He'll just approach her slowly.
And she doesn't turn to you, Guardian or Issa, as you guys are advancing. You can tell she's working on, looks like a blade of some sort, and she's hammering away at it. She doesn't appear to be wearing too many furs or anything. She's just got a large leather apron that is catching some of the sparks that are flying off the blade. But she has darker skin, not quite as dark as Laja, and darker hair, but like I said, she's turned away from you and she's not really paying attention to you at all.
Are you perhaps Olga Brightsprings?
And she says, yes, if you want to buy something, you'll have to wait till tomorrow. My partner's gone for the day.
I am here in regards to Toloth Velnir of Redwood Town.
Oh. And she stops. She puts her hammer down and she sighs, and you can tell she's got all sorts of like soot stains on her face and her arms and stuff. And she puts down all of her equipment, like her tongs that are holding the blade and her hammer, and she turns and she says, well, suppose you should come in here. Do you have time for a drink?
It is part of the tradition, I assume. I was simply told to abide by the guide.
Indeed. And she walks in she's still in the forge, which is mostly open outside. So she actually walks over to like two stumps that have obviously been turned into like very crude chairs. She actually really doesn't really have any furniture out there, but she motions for one of you to take a seat. She doesn't really seem to care, and she goes over and pulls out a flagon and starts pouring something into 2 cups.
This is still outside?
Yeah, the forge it's open to outside. It's not actually inside.
Alright. Guardian will take a seat with his back turned as much as he can to anyone who'd be looking in, so they just see his back.
Yeah, and I think Issa doesn't come into the forge. She just sort of lingers on the perimeter and just sort of keeps a watchful eye on everything.
Olga, she has the 2 cups and she hands them to both of you, and she says, "So, tell me, how did he die?"
Age. Peacefully in his sleep.
Well, that is good. That's a good way to go, I suppose, especially in today's times where there are so many ways to die.
He said something similar. He was badly injured when I first encountered him. The bandits that were attacking him, unfortunately, suffered more injuries from me than they could dish out.
He showed me some kindness when I made my way from our home in Battlehammer Hold. I will always be in his debt for that, but it's a sad day that he has departed. It, of course, bound to happen to all of us.
Perhaps. But do not look at it as a sadness. He has helped you. Remember that. Honor the memory of his kindness.
And she reaches up to her neck and she undoes a necklace that is actually kind of underneath her apron. You hadn't seen it before. And she pulls out, it looks like an amulet that's in the shape of an anvil. And she hands it to you and she says, "I suppose you could take this as a token for him if you return to his burial. It's an old trinket from back home. Does me no good anymore. Morden has certainly turned his back on us here."
I thank you for the offering. Toloth will thank you as well when you see him, whenever you shall cross over.
She looks at you, Issa, and she says, "You are a child of the glacier, eh?"
In a sense.
"I've heard of fighting on the glacier."
That would be a gross understatement. It's quite chaotic, actually.
It would do you well to stay away from the Dwarven Valley. It has been overrun by orcs.
I'll keep that in mind.
And she turns and goes and pours herself a drink, and she finds another stump to sit on, and she doesn't really say much. She just starts drinking from her cup.
Guardian will drink.
And she says,
I think Issa will be polite and finish the mug that was given to her, but she's definitely not going to ask for seconds.
"Are you staying here for the burning tomorrow?"
We are staying the night.
"Best to be gone by morning. It's a foul situation."
It'll be interesting. That is for sure. He'll put the cup down and just look at her for a moment. It is good to meet you. Toloth has tried to educate me in social nicety. It is difficult, but the value is what I believe in. Long life, good health, and good craftsmanship.
She nods. To you as well on your continued journey, and to you, daughter of the glacier.
Guardian will stand up and look at Issa and just give her a nod.
Returns the nod and steps away from the post she's leaning against and presumably follows Guardian back to the inn unless he wanted to stop somewhere else along the way.
Yeah, he's just gonna pick up a street fight. No, he'll go back to the inn.
As you start to walk away, though, Olga stands up and she says, "Just a moment." And she walks over to that section of your arm where the moss and stuff had cleared away when you were comparing your armor to the sword that Virion has. And she looks at the metal that's exposed and she says, "That's very interesting. I haven't seen Grey Charlatan before. It's only a rumor."
This metal?
Yes.
What do you know?
Well, it is a substance called Charlatan. I've never seen it in gray form before. I've only seen it in its demonic form. You could recognize it as a shiny black material.
I have been told I am old. I do not know my age.
She kind of looks at you, and you can tell she's kind of sizing you up. She kind of squints a moment. But she doesn't really say anything.
He'll just look at her and tilt his head around. Is there anything else?
You are a curiosity, of course. Of course, the metal that you are made of is native to the Dale. But, like I said, in these modern times, I've only ever seen it in its black form. You would do well to not ever be around Black Charlatan if you can help it.
Do they have evil properties?
Amongst other things, it is prone to create madness in those around it often. Charlatan as a substance is prone to, or is easy for enchantment, I should say. I have a bit of a dark history with Black Charlatan.
Are the people I travel with at risk because of this?
No, I have never heard of Grey Charlatan causing any ill effects. From what I have heard, it is that color of the mineral that is more neutral.
Understood. Thank you. If you happen to remember anything else, I will be at the White Lady Inn.
And she nods, turns, and goes back to her work.
Garen will just look at his hand for a second, and then start walking towards the inn.
Okay.
So on the way, I mean, it's been pretty obvious so far that East has been very quiet and withdrawn ever since arriving in town proper. But she sort of leans over to Guardian and says, "Am I the only one that thinks something is wrong here? And I don't mean that just in the sense that there's people are bloodthirsty and the speaker is obviously addled out of his mind. It honestly feels like this whole place has been corrupted."
If you take an animal and put it into a cellar and feed it just scraps, just enough to survive, how do you think the animal will react when you let it loose?
Well, of course it would be rabid, but everything I've seen so far suggests that that's not the case here. If anything, instead of binding together as a community, they seem to have instead given in to their fear and are lashing out at anyone they dislike or anyone that does not follow their quote unquote community. I mean, sure, this day it's the supposed witch, air quotes. But what's to stop some random citizen being executed because they trip someone accidentally or say the wrong thing?
Or they have the wrong shade of red on.
Exactly.
I agree. Their environment has led them to this path. But if the environment can be changed or restored to what it was before the corruption, who knows?
To that end, I think it's prudent to say that when, not if, we save that prisoner, I think we need to get as much information out of her as possible. Hopefully, find a way to end this problem for the entire Dale.
I have a simple idea, but I will discuss it at the end.
And then Issa just sort of nods and walks the rest of the way in silence.
Cutting us over to the White Lady Inn. So this all will have happened while you guys... I need to hide Issa. Issa's not here. While the other two were at the forge, the three of you have made your way to the White Lady Inn. And the signs lead you guys to this inn, which is a pretty large structure. There's a large door, and there are many lights inside, and you can hear the sounds of people drinking and eating, of course, have led you to this front door.
I think Rorgar will immediately just he'll kind of ignore everything else going on and just go straight to the front desk there. Is that kind of like a bar and a front desk for like an inn?
Yeah, it
Okay.
is that, a bar slash front desk. As you make your way in, Rorgar, you work your way through the large, it's not large, but the crowded entry area. There's a warm fire burning in the center of the room. As soon as you all walk in, you instantly warm up, especially you, Varian, who've been suffering from the cold quite a bit lately. You feel substantially more comfortable here in this room, and there's a lot of light. It's a very just, warm feeling entirely inside. But as you walk in, Rorgar, immediately as you're heading over towards this desk, your eye catches a dragonborn. She looks up as you approach. She's a white dragonborn. She actually has perched on her nose a small pair of glasses. And she looks up and she says, "Oh, hello. Hello, welcome to the White Lady Inn."
I did not expect the name to be literal. I assume you are the aforementioned White Lady.
She kind of blinks very quickly and coyly, turns her head away, and she says, "Oh, no." Very generous. "No, it's not named for me. It was some sort of urban legend, of course. Let me introduce myself. My name is Nimitra Miskin."
Hello, I am Rorgar, a paladin in service to Torm and Bahamut. It is a pleasure to meet you. My party does require a room if you have available. Maybe two.
"Oh, Torn Bahamut, that's too bad. Do you have a moment to hear the message of our savior, Oral the Frostmaiden?"
Oh, I respect all beliefs, and just because I am in service to Torm and Bahamut does not mean I can't do something for the Frostmaiden. My friend over here, and I point to Laja, she, as you can probably tell from her glow, she is a servant of Lathander.
A revolting and provincial belief, of course.
I disagree, but respectfully. If you saw the miracles that can be done through Lathander, you would think a little more kindly. But obviously, the Frostmaiden is also very powerful. Yes, I'll listen. But first, can I get am I able to book a room? My friends are very tired from the journey across the plains.
And she says, "Oh, of course. We have plenty rooms. Several are still available, apart from many people coming here to watch the burning, which I imagine is why you are here as well.
Actually, a pleasant surprise that burning is happening.
That witch came in here not very long ago, spouting sacrilegious comments about overthrowing Oral, the goddess herself, of course. Such madness. It's good that the guards arrested her. I can't say that many will be sad here when she burns tomorrow.
I am a little ashamed to say this, but I've never seen an actual burning.
It is said the guards are taking wagers on how long she will scream.
Oh, well, as a servant of Torm and Bahamut, I do not wager, but I am interested in the odds. I will ask around. How much for the room? If I could get 2 rooms, that would be better. I have 2 friends here, and then 2 others who are following close behind.
Just checking my spreadsheet because I do actually have a better price list for you. Let's see. Per day in the accommodations that she has, it's actually going to be 16 gold. Now, as many people as you want to pack in that room, it's up to you, but it's 16 gold for 1 room per day.
Okay. I will give 16 gold. That leaves me with 1.
Shouldn't have bribed all those guards.
I didn't bribe the guy, remember? I took the money back.
Oh, that's right.
That's super
Vorgar
expensive.
just keeps paying for everything.
Vorgar's getting ripped off, I think.
Probably. But Rogar doesn't know to haggle, so that's fine. 16 gold. It does seem pricey, but these accommodations do seem very nice.
And these are difficult times too, Silver One. And of course, the high demand of people wanting to stay in the best inn in Easthaven, of course.
Rogar he doesn't do this on purpose, but he literally pours out all of his gold onto the counter and counts out 1, 2, and you see that he only has 1 left. He puts it in his hand, puts it back in his pocket, and then pushes the 16 forward. 16 gold.
Now, I'm not completely unreasonable. I don't want to take all of your gold. I will deal with barter if you have any magical or valuable items that you would like to trade. I, of course, will make a fair compensation.
I'm afraid gold is all I have to barter with. Every item I carry is very important to me. Like this axe. And he proudly holds up his battle axe.
She looks over. And perhaps your friends might have something.
Yes, but they're tired. I do not want to bother them. Take my gold. It's good gold.
Indeed, I will take it. And she begins to scoop it up, and she says, of course, the artifact, the holy symbol that your friend has, its gold is better served melted down.
I don't agree with that, but and I don't think you'll be able to convince Laja to do that. But you can try.
While all this is going on, in the corner, Virian and Laja, as you're conversing there, standing by the fire warming up, you are approached by a halfling who is off on the corner. And as he catches your attention, you notice he's a little thinner and a little taller for a halfling. You know, he's maybe Laja's about your height. He has very clean-cut clothing. You know, it's very well kept, very well groomed, and he has a long mustache that he's curled up. And he approaches and he says, "Oh, hello, my friends. I see you have made your way to the White Inn for a séance. Is that correct?"
We're just here to stay the night. I'm not sure I heard anything about a séance.
Oh, but here in the White Lady Inn, why else would you come to this inn? It is known to be the most haunted place in all of Icewind Dale. With the correct séance, we may pierce the veil and speak to the White Lady herself.
We were told that this was just the nicest inn in town.
Of course, the White Lady herself does not cause any problems, but if you would like to join me, we could reach across the veil, as I have said, and ask her questions. Anything you'd like to know, the fate of your family, long lost secrets, you may find all of these in a conversation with the White Lady.
Uh, Varian, have you attended a seance before?
I have not, but I'm very intrigued.
Uh, I I think I might ask Rorgar what he thinks about this, if that's okay.
Do you want me to come back to the table now?
I'll wave you over as you're
Okay.
walking back.
Before I hear that, I'll Elijah, I've learned from the innkeeper here that your holy symbol for Lathander may not be looked upon kindly in this town.
Oh,
I'm not sure why. Lathander's pretty cool.
I I have to say I don't know either.
Yes, she told me that you should take your holy symbol and melt it down. I told her that was not going to happen.
And Rorgar can see some gears turning for a moment. Um, uh, sh- thank thanks for letting me know, Rorgar. And anyway, uh, this gentleman here was inviting us to a seance. Do you happen to know anything about those?
Oh, I know that when I was in church, that I was told that seances are ways to communicate with the dead, and that is not something that they looked upon kindly. But and Rogar looks around. I don't see anyone from my church here. How much does this seance cost?
And Ronaldo, he turns to Rorgar and he says, "Oh, for you, I will give you a special price. Let's just say only something like 5 gold a
Ha!
piece. 5 gold a
Oh, sure.
piece. A
I'm
small
sorry.
price to pay to reach across the veil and speak to the White Lady herself. Again, any of your questions will be answered, within reason, of course."
I am I'm actually very interested in this. It sounds like fun, but unfortunately, I actually spent every single piece of gold that I have to rent a room here. Did I get a key?
Yes, you did get a key.
I'll toss it to Virian. So, as much as I would like to take part in this seance, I'm afraid I cannot.
He kind
Is
of
there a
shifts.
better price you can, like a group discount for all three of us?
Well, we will need 4 in order to do the seance. So I will say, if you two, and he looks to you, Viridian and Laja, if you are interested, I would give you a discount, only 10 gold total. These are dark times, friends. Of course, the chance to find out more secrets, to answer your questions. Can you put a price upon that?
I believe you have, sir.
He laughs. Aha, I have, that is true. But even I, the great Ronaldo, must eat sometime.
That is fair. I understand that.
We've done a lot of traveling today. I know at least I would like to get some rest, but if you are here and we run into you later, perhaps we can do this another time.
I can see inside of you a skeptic. You do not believe in the White Lady. You see the seance as something foolish.
I haven't experienced something like this before.
And he stops you talking by putting his finger across your lips, and he says, no more skeptical talk. Okay, you have pulled Renado's leg. I will give you the seance, the possibility to ask your heart's most desperate questions for only 5 gold. I'm giving it away now. Renado will go hungry, but I see that you have questions, and it will answer for you.
Does Ronaldo keep offering us the same price for the seance, trying to trick us into thinking it's a deal?
No, I think he's saying 5 for all of us.
Yeah, 5 total now, not 5 each.
Okay.
It went 15, 10, 5, so...
Okay, I thought he said 10 for just Laja and me, and I was like, that is the same deal, Ronaldo. You're breaking me here. Viren will say, okay, for 5 gold, I will cover the cost of the seance for all of us. Can you throw in a seance for this axe-wielding gentleman across the table from us as well?
And speaking up from the corner over a mug that he's been working on is a smaller, he's a gnomish gentleman with a long white beard. He looks up and he says, now I'm here to tell you, the last time we did that seance, somebody got hurt. The white lady, she came out and attacked everyone. I wouldn't go listening to that fool Ronaldo. Apparently gnomes have southern accents now, so we're going with it.
Virian, maybe we would be better off if you just spent that 5 gold on beer.
Do not listen to him. He has the heart of a skeptic.
What? I can literally sense undead people.
No. The old man over there, the foolish gnome.
Yes, okay.
It is true that sometimes working in the afterlife, that sometimes we may reach too far. Our powers may grow too much. But that is very rare.
Well, if Rorgar is not into it and Laj is kind of on the fence, maybe we'll save the seance for another time.
Yes, friend Ronaldo, do you ever do these seance in other towns?
No, you see, the white lady is the one we communicate with. She is bound to the inn here. In fact, if you did not know, that is the name of the inn. It's named after her.
Yes, I asked Nimitra if it was named after her, and she seemed rather embarrassed.
No. It's a very funny coincidence that a white lady took possession of the white lady inn. No, it is not named for her. I could see how you could get confused.
I do often get confused. You are right.
And he looks up to Guardian and Issa as the two of them enter in the inn. He says, even more. Perhaps they would like to seance. I see if you are done for the day. Well, goodbye, my friends. And he looks to you, Laja. You should question the assumptions that you have, my dear. The afterlife calls to you many answers to your questions.
And she'll just give him a smile as he walks away to go bother the other patrons of this establishment, aka our friends.
Wait, Ronaldo, just as a test, what is my father's name?
It does not work like that, my friend. We must do the seance, and then only after we have communicated with the white lady will she answer your question. I am just a simple halfling. I am just a meager man. I do not know that answer for you.
Most halflings can guess my father's name. Just saying.
Was your father's name Bob?
It's close. But no. And I think Rorgar will also he's gonna start moving towards the room because he's not exhausted, but he's literally out of everything, so he wants to get some sleep.
Okay. So Guardian Issa, as you enter the inn, you hear this exchange and you see the halfling I've described previously. He makes his way over to you with a bit of a swagger. He says, my friends, welcome to the White Lady Inn. I assume you've come here for the seance, the chance to reach across the veil and talk.
Nope. And I just walked right past him.
I'm just walking away from him too.
Such a dark day for Ronaldo.
So I spot the rest of the party and I sort of stop by and I say, Do we have a room yet?
Yes, Rogar got us rooms.
It only cost me 16 gold pieces.
You got ripped off.
I haven't seen the room yet. Maybe it is an excellent room.
Hello, dear innkeeper.
And she says, yes, hello. What may I do for you?
I would like to inquire for a room.
Of course. We have just available a nice clean room for you, only 20 gold pieces for one night. A discount, if you will, for the best inn in Easthaven.
Is there a worst inn I can go to?
Believe it's under the possession of the guards at this point. Something about failure to pay their taxes.
Is there another inn?
You insulted me, sir. This is the best inn in Easthaven. The only alternative you have is in another town. Bryn Shandor is perhaps a few hours away, but I promise you will not find better accommodations in all of Icewind Dale.
Very well, thank you.
So, Rorgar, you actually got the discount price.
Unfortunately, it is only one room for all of us, so it could be tight squeeze.
At least it's warm.
You all can have your fun in the room. I'm just gonna get a mug of ale and rest in the corner over here. Over there.
Friend, let me know how the ale is. I actually can't afford it anymore.
That's probably shit, but I need something to drink.
And yeah, Rogar will go to the room. I don't know which one it is. They look
take
tiny.
Your pick. Take your pick.
I will take the one that has potentially 6 squares if someone squeezes into the wall.
It's very spacious.
Wow.
16 golds for 6 squares.
This room does not look like 16 gold, but as an innkeeper ourselves, it teaches valuable lesson. We can charge whatever we want.
And Viren, as you make your way over to the gnome, he looks up to you and he says, "So, have you come here for the burning?"
Just kind of here by happenstance, but I guess in a way, yeah, we are here for the burning.
Well, I only made my way over here because Easthaven's been using lots of wood lately when it comes to fixing houses or burning witches.
So you're the supplier of the wood for the burning then?
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, I am.
How did you... So can you tell us any, like, you have any background information on this witch, or they just hire you for the wood and that's about all you know?
Well, sir, they didn't ask me much apart from, what they wanted, but from what I hear, the witch herself, she's some kind of dark dragon demon, something about who turned into a witch and killed people, so they're gonna burn her.
Right, that does sound like something that happens.
Yes, sir. I don't know much more than that. Of course, no one asks old Scythen what he thinks. But of course, it's hard to say no to gold these days.
That's fair. You got to make a living.
So you folks, and he looks at Guardian, I wouldn't say you're from around these parts, are you?
What gave it away?
Well, the little owl on your shoulder is a little bit of a strange thing. They don't typically come indoors.
Who?
He points to Ollie. Oh, I get it. You're a comedian, too.
Attempting to.
And he looks over at Laja. She's making her way over to the Nimitra. I'd tell your friend not to try to make acquaintances with Nimitra over there. She's not very friendly to outsiders, especially not ones with the little doodads like your friend has.
Has the town always been like that?
Oh, no, no. Easthaven used to be a nice and friendly place. Of course, then curses and things move in, and it's not so friendly anymore.
What would you say if a curse was still remaining?
What do you mean if it were to stay?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I reckon something eventually is going to catch old Scython off from the plains and gobble me up. Of course, not much to me left. I can just only hope it chokes on me when it does.
I'm talking about the town. If there's a curse upon the town that hasn't been dispelled or removed.
Oh, Easthaven, I don't know anything about removing curses. That's not what I do here. I'd say, I don't know, the way things are going, maybe some giant monster will eat Easthaven next. I don't know. Of course, if you could make things better, that'd be nice.
Understood. Varian, I was not able to procure your room. 20 gold, apparently. I will find shelter somewhere else.
Oh, did we forget to tell Guardian we have a room?
Yeah, no one's told them.
Well, I'm
Uh,
not there.
Virion still has the keys, so Guardian, we actually got a room. Rorgar spent all of his money on it. So if you want, you can go in and get some rest, and Virion will hand Guardian the key.
I'll rest last since I need the least amount. I will also use my body to block the door, just in case.
That might be a good idea. That Jenkins guy might come looking for us. You know anything about this Jenkins guy, Scython?
I can't. Oh, is he? Oh, is he that guy that works? He's that fisherman, right? That got his you know what, bitten off by a knucklehead trout.
I hope it's him. Did he become a guard after he got his thing bitten off by the trout?
Oh, say what now? No, no, he I think he retired somewhere around Bremen's.
Ah, well, that's also someone I need to meet one day as well.
Yeah. So let me know. Have you met Prudence?
Is that the woman who works for the speaker who doesn't shut up?
Ooh, yeah.
You're sweet on her, are you?
Ooh, let's just say I'd like to show her around my around my room, if you know what I mean.
Around your wooded area.
There you go. No more
right.
splinters down there, I promise.
Jesus. Well, if she stops babbling for a second, I'll see if I can put in a good word for you.
Well, thank you, sir. I would certainly appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem. I am gonna go get some shut eye. So you take care, and hopefully the wood game picks up, and you don't have to lower yourself to selling wood for burnings and stuff like that.
And he nods and he like touches the brim of his hat. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. And I have to ask, if you find yourself in trouble, just remember if they're gonna burn you, to tell them Scython's got the best lumber in all of Icewind Dale. It will burn with no problem.
I will definitely keep you top of mind.
Thank you, sir. I will appreciate that.
And Virion will head to the room.
I'm
So-
just gonna.
Lodge, as you make
Get
your
up
way
and
over
walk
to
over.
meet to Nimitra, she actually looks at you from like a ledger that she's working on, and she doesn't like greet you as you walk to the counter.
Hi, I was hoping that there might be food available for purchase here or drinks for my party.
Yes, we have food and drink available.
Great. Do you have any options or a special?
Let's see, for you, how many are in your party?
I believe 4 of us will be requiring food.
I can serve you our best accommodations for 30 gold. Of course, I will take an equivalent item for trade, times being what they are.
I heard that my friend got a room for 16. Is this just including rooms, or is this just for, the cost of food and drink?
That was just for the room, which did not include a dwarf cleaning fee.
Ooh.
Okay. I mean, I'm happy to stay somewhere else if you would not like my business. I'm more than happy to find somewhere else to stay.
And she says, "No, if you can't afford the gold, as I said, times being what they were, I will accept something in trade." And she looks at your backpack. Your pack, of course, is full. I would take a look and see if there's anything that you would like to trade there.
I have some things I could offer for trade, but I think if this isn't going to be, a pleasant place to stay, then I wouldn't want to intrude on your place of business.
She says, "Yes, of course. If my inn is not up to your standards, then yes, I invite you to find somewhere else to stay."
Can I come out of the room? I know I was saying I was sleeping.
Sure.
I'll come out and just from over here. Laja, the room is over this way. Nimitra, this is my very good friend Laja.
Oh, indeed.
Laja has saved my life many times.
I was going to see about getting us food and drink, but it seems like we can't make a deal right now, unfortunately.
How much for water?
And she says, "Water is free. You can fetch it from the well yourself."
Good. Laja, you have a cauldron, do you not?
True. I guess we can, perhaps heat something up and that'll be good enough. Rations are
No.
fine with me.
I will fetch the water. Issa, come here.
I'm sorry, did you just volunteer me for bucket duty?
No, I'm telling you to come here.
Get up and walk over.
Just hands her 8 days worth of rations. Go inside, split this all up with the party, make sure it's even for them. I do not need any. And I'm gonna walk out, get some water.
Alright. Well, since I'm now in charge of 8 rations, I guess everybody gets 2.
Kind of need that. Can't really buy any.
And then I go back to my corner to brood silently.
Guardian, in no time at all, the well is actually very close to the inn. You're able to retrieve a bucket or 2 buckets, however much you'd like to carry of water.
Yeah, get 2 buckets. Come
We're
back
going to see
in.
how good the stew is.
So as you pour the water, I'm assuming you're going to go right to it, Guardian. As you pour the water in the cauldron, it is immediate. As the water enters the cauldron, it immediately transforms into a soup. And in fact, the soup is warm even though the water is freezing cold. And there's like a bit of steam rising off the cauldron.
So we're all crammed in this room. I'm just opening the door and just look at Issa. I'm like, Issa, come here.
Damn it, can I not brood in peace?
No.
I walk back over.
And when you open the door, Guardian, a smell of the soup kind of just wafts to the end. It's very, it's a very strong smell. And Nimitra leans over and she says, "Wait a minute, are you cooking in your room?"
No.
She says, "Don't lie,
No
I can
fire
smell
is
it."
No fire is being used.
And she walks around her counter and starts to head to your room.
Not gonna stop her.
It was good
Nah.
knowing you all.
Can I cut her off?
Sure.
Nemetra, have you done one of the seances with Ronaldo here?
And she says, "My friend, what's going on in there? What are they cooking?"
It's no cooking. They're actually using spilled components to bless your establishment.
No, I can't. I won't have that. I won't have that. And she tries to push past you.
Well, I'll tell them to stop then, but
You have a choice, Rogar. You can actually try to stop her because she's pushing past you, or you can let her go.
What is the problem with them cooking food?
yeah, I'm not gonna try to physically stop her. That seems.
Okay.
But I will say, friends, I guess you should probably stop trying to bless this hotel.
But she makes her way past you, Rogar, and she looks in at the room and she sees the cauldron, and she says, "Is that a magical artifact? Did that make food?"
Yes.
I must have it. Name your price.
No.
And she says to you, Elijah,
Unfortunately, I'm a little more inclined to hold on to this for now, at least.
you could stay here as long as you'd like.
We're only going to be in town for the night, and then we'll be on our way.
And it is quite unfortunate because, as much as you have treated me with respect, you have failed to treat my friends with the same level of respect, and I think it leaves us unwilling to trade.
500 gold.
You don't have
No.
that kind of money.
Well, she has 16.
He says, I can get 500 gold here. You'll give me the cauldron then. Yes?
No.
No, I'm simply remarking that you don't have that money, not unless you resort to something illegal.
What do you want with it? What would you do with this item?
I've heard of these before. Does it produce food when you add water? Is that why you got the water for it?
Yes.
Would you charge people to eat the meals that come from this cauldron?
Oh no! I would generously offer them up to the people of Easthaven.
Can I do an insight check to see if she's lying?
Sure.
Ah,
Oh,
crap.
poor Rogar. You have no idea.
Can I try an insight just to see if she's full of it?
Sure.
Guys, why do you guys keep insisting on doing that when I could have done that with my +5? I'm not doing it now. I'm not having us all roll for this.
Guardian, she's
Nah,
she's obviously lying.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I'm not gonna roll because this is just convinced she's not telling the truth at all.
You have shown no kindness or respect to any of the party members here.
Well,
Why shall we do the same for you?
to be fair, she showed respect to me, I guess. She gave me a great deal, 16 gold for a room for one night. Seems pretty good.
Garen just looks at you just for a second, like, okay.
Fine. I'll go to the captain myself. And she starts to head off down the hall, perhaps to another door.
Wait, what do you mean go to captain?
If such an artifact is in your possession, it makes no sense for a group of yourselves to have it. That thing can... I've read of them before. That thing could feed an entire town.
That's
And
not
we are travelers. We require it so we can survive from our journey through the frozen dale.
Well, yes, it makes no sense to hoard such an artifact for yourselves. We'll let
It is
the
being used for
captain weigh in on
survival.
this. If you'll not take my
Or-
gold, perhaps he can persuade you.
I believe his method of persuasion will be to accuse us of a crime. You will be solely responsible for our deaths.
Well, people often complain about how cold it is these days.
Let her go.
Out from the corner here, Scython. Oh, did somebody say they need more wood?
Actually, yes. Why not?
And Nimitra heads off, looks through maybe a back door, and exits the inn.
So now that she's gone, is anyone watching the bar?
Yeah, nope.
Do I have any idea where she might have put Rothgar's money?
When you hop over the bar, or at least if you glance over it, you do see there is what looks like a lockbox underneath the bar itself.
How big is it? Shoebox sized, maybe?
Yeah, it's probably about the size of a shoebox. Yeah.
I look over at Guardian to get his attention, and then I sort of do the head motion at the lockbox and wait to see if he replies.
Do the head motion to who, sorry? Cut out there for me.
The Guardian, you.
Oh.
Is there?
Just,
Is there?
just look at you and just like tilt my head.
Actually, I have an idea.
Okay, you gotta go for it.
Is there a normal like pot in this room?
There's probably a chamber pot in the room that you guys are in.
Can I take that? I'll empty it.
Where?
And then probably just on the floor. I don't care about this establishment anymore.
Where?
Laja, can you please hide our cauldron or whatever we call it? Cauldron seems like it is a witchy thing, and I don't like that. I feel a little uncomfortable. But hide that somewhere. When the captain comes and sees that we have this chamber pot.
Oh, sure. I don't know where to put it while it's full of food. I'm just gonna try to tuck it under the bed, I guess.
Just maybe just dump it out outside and bury it in snow, so we can grab it later.
Sure, I will listen to Rorgar and I
I
will.
don't. I want to get my 16 gold worth of rest. Is what I'm saying.
You're
makes
not gonna
sense.
get it. There's no way. She comes back with the guard. There's only really one way this is gonna pan out.
Yes, they will see that this innkeeper made great fuss about the steaming pile coming from chamber pot.
I think that is wonderfully naive of you.
It possibly is. This is my first adventure.
Well, if everything I've seen of the town so far suggests that when the guard comes back, they're going to try to arrest us for some crime or another. We're going to fight them, and unfortunately, we're not going to get a chance to save the one person who might be able to give us information to end what's happening in this dale.
So maybe we should leave, is what you're saying?
I'm saying not only should we leave, we either need to find another place to bed down without people noticing us, or we need to go bust out our prisoner now. Also, we should probably get your money back from the lockbox. Just saying.
It was a fair transaction. I cannot take that back. But then Rorgar makes a great show of not looking towards where Issa is.
I don't know. I'm looking at my stealth and I'm debating whether I'm gonna go for it because I'm not gonna go for it. I don't want to risk it.
Meanwhile, I imagine Ronaldo is looking across the room, very interested in what is going on. He seems like a busybody type.
Ronaldo maybe makes his way over to you, Issa, and he says, hello, my friend. I mean to tell you that if you mean to steal from the lady Demetra, they do not exactly see upon that as something that you should do here in Easthaven. In fact, many people have been thrown in jail.
Well, it's a good thing I wasn't thinking of stealing from it then.
How about this? Give me the cauldron.
Sure, here you go.
He's just gonna. He's gonna go to the room or the hallway here, and he's just gonna pull back on the chest piece of his armor. He's just gonna wedge it in there.
Now, it does occur to me, my friend, that it's possible the city guard might be coming for you soon, and it's possible that you will need something like a diversion. Is that correct?
Oh, I'm,
Well-
I'm leaving. I'm walking out once I get the
Yeah, I
code
was gonna say at this point, I think I've made it very clear, and Issa is not standing for and is definitely leaving as well.
Says, oh, you'll misunderstand, my friend. For a small, reasonable
No,
fee,
go away, you
Ronaldo
charlatan.
could provide a diversion for you to escape.
Is the door down here? You said?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
it's
made
right
up a
there.
door. There's a door down there.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'm just walking out.
I'm already out the front door as well.
It sounds like
I'll follow
nobody's
Guardian.
nobody's buying what Renato's selling tonight.
I
Only
don't
you
trust
found
him.
us
I
on a
feel
better
like
night.
I found that mustache to be fake.